about 1 hour, you're going to find out why we traveled all this way to get to where we're going. Well, we've made it to Prince Rupert. That's what you guys were seeing in all those little video clips as we entered the harbor. And we are at the Cow Bay Marina. Right behind me is Cow Bay. This is a pretty awesome spot. I'm super excited to be here. Cole, it's his first time here, so he's excited to go check out the town a little bit. And my dad's been here before. Many of you may already know that I lived here before. And I guess I may as well just tell you this right now. I'm living here again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the trip up. So we've made it to Prince Rupert, and I'm going to ask Cole overall thoughts of the trip, and then ask him what he thinks of it here so far. We've just tied up, so first impressions, I guess.
The trip was friggin' amazing. It was like one of those once-in-a-lifetime trips. My uncle said I was going to have the time of my life before I left. He was right. He was bang on. It's going to be one of those trips I'll remember forever. So yeah, just too good. It was life experience, man, you know? Opened my eyes to a different way of living, the whole bit. Very philosophical. You start to enjoy or really appreciate the small stuff. I'm going to have a shower on land, a burger, and maybe a load of laundry, and to me that's better than winning the lottery right now.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
No, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. Living the dream.
And how about your first impressions of Prince Rupert? We just arrived half an hour ago.
The marina here and everything is just fantastic. I mean, the whole coast, the whole view, the town, all the little houses, it's just nice. It's perfect size. Just about the right size. I really like it. I'm entertaining the notion of chasing Alfie up out here and ask him to put in a good word, and hopefully I can come be his neighbor again someday.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It'd be an epic trip.
Totally.
The sequel.
Yes, you might see him doing the trip on another old sailing vessel here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. And see if Amanda would do it with you.
Yeah.
That would be an epic trip for her. Maybe that would open her eyes to
no question.
some of what we've seen already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. And I want to say a huge thank you for crewing, and not just being crew, but just being someone on the boat, and a member of the team, right? So
been a pleasure all the way around. Absolutely.
yeah,
We really grew to become all good friends here.
Yeah, almost like family by the end.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm gonna miss being your neighbor down
Yeah.
south. So, but I know our paths will cross again.
No question.
Yeah, and a huge thanks again for helping out.
It's been a pleasure, and appreciate all the lessons and everything that you've helped me with along the way as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully you learned one thing at least.
I came away a better man.
Well,
I feel like a sailor now.
Yeah. Well, you got your own boat, so you'll have a lot of fun using it now.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Good time.
So my dad's up next. I'm gonna ask him what he thought of the trip. What was your overall thoughts of the last 2 weeks?
Well, it was fantastic, and I'm glad I'm retired because I don't have to panic about getting back to work. I live in the Okanagan, and we got a big lake, but it's just that, a big lake. This is water here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting to see the different surfaces of the water. It's bouncing around one day and calm the next day and foggy another day, and that makes the trip pretty interesting. And it makes it a little challenging, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, we had some challenges and we had some easy days and saw some neat, interesting things.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a huge boat here, but we didn't go hungry. We are all well fed, and it was a lot of fun.
And what are your first impressions of the marina and the waterfront of Prince Rupert again?
Well, the marina is fantastic. I don't think it gets better than this. And I haven't been walking around Rupert, but I'm sure it's pretty much like I saw it the last time. But
yeah,
it's going to be nice. I'm going to be interested to see if the changes that have been made because it's a good number of years since I've been here.
Well, thanks. I want to say a big thanks for helping me bring the boat up. I couldn't have done it without you.
Well, I think you could. But anyways, thank you very much. And I had fun, and I'm glad you called me, and I could whip down and go on this trip with you.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun.
It has. Good memories.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey everyone. Well, I really hope you all enjoyed that surprise with my relocating back to Prince Rupert. And most of you probably know I lived here before. I'm born and raised in Vancouver, but I did live in Prince Rupert before, and I really liked it, so I came back. I'm sure if you were following along on the charts that I was posting at the end of each video, you saw that Prince Rupert was getting closer and closer. So that might not have been a surprise that I was coming here, but moving here was something I was hoping to shock you all with. But anyways, now that I'm here, it's November 25th, 2016. Sorry for the delay in all the videos. I know a lot of people asked, when was this shot? And I should have maybe said something at the beginning of the series, but I honestly didn't think it was going to be this big of a delay in posting the videos. But what had happened was I did my 2-week trip with the kids before this Inside Passage cruise, and then I was just back in Vancouver for a few days, and I was frantically getting the boat ready for this trip. When I got to Prince Rupert, that's when I started editing the video for the Desolation Sound cruise with the kids. So it took a little while. I didn't want to publish everything at once, obviously, because you have to spread it out a bit. I have shot 2 or 3 videos, maybe, I think, or 4, since I've been here. So I've slowed down a little bit while I was doing lots of editing, but I did manage to shoot a little video, so there will be a few more videos of some things I've been doing in Prince Rupert, and I'll get working on those next. And then hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be right up to date with videos and with current time again. I thought this would be a good time to go over a few things, like how long it took, how much we spent, the distance, things like that. So I wrote it down here. We took 14 days. 3 of those days were harbor days, so those are just days of rest where we don't actually move. and I actually could have taken 1 or 2 more, but we were happy with the amount of harbor days we had and in the locations that we had them. The total distance from Vancouver to Prince Rupert was 527 nautical miles, and if you look at the coast of British Columbia, that's almost the entire coast from Washington State to Alaska. For food, we spent a total of $482 and change. That's Canadian dollars. That was the initial grocery bill at the beginning when we left Vancouver, and then a top up in Shearwater. And that cost is split 3 ways. The total gas bill, I'm wondering if anyone can even come close to guessing what this is. You probably saw that we did motor quite a bit, and our total gas bill was $226 and change for the entire distance. So the boat's fuel efficient sailboats are, because they're hydrodynamic, they're designed to glide through the water, and once the boat's up to speed, it just goes along pretty effortlessly. It does burn fuel still, but we did sail a bit. It's hard to tell in the videos, I know, because sometimes we were sailing for a while and I only get it where it looks like part of the day, but it was actually a larger part of the day. But you know, you're trying to actually do the cruise and be part of the crew and interact and make food and do maintenance and stuff and shoot the video, so sometimes it doesn't really totally accurately show how much we motored versus how much we sailed. So of course, moving to a more northern climate, there was a few things I wanted to do before I left, and one of them was insulate the boat. It's been on my list of things to do for so long. You can see here in the cupboard, that's one of the big long cupboards above the settee. The outer wall of that is just the fiberglass. You know, it's the fiberglass, the core, and then the hull on the other side. The ceiling is the same, right above that, in that cupboard. So what I did was I put all these vertical strips on the hull, and then I put 1/2 inch, I think it was, or just about a 1/2 inch closed cell foam. Then I started cutting wood strips and screwing them to the vertical supports. So you can see that's happening here. And here's a little look at the finished product. Now on the ceilings inside there, I'd actually left it with that silver board, and I wasn't really happy with that because you couldn't really see it unless you're sitting down and looking up and the cupboard was open. But I wanted to finish it off a little better, so what I did was I found this cork. It's like a really thin sheet, probably like 1/8 or a little more than 1/8, and I used the same glue that's for the foam board, and I troweled it on here, and then I applied it right to the foam board, so it gave it quite a nice finish on the inside. And I'll just show you really quick here how easy this stuff is. I just kept this scrap to show you guys, and once I sort of made my template, I just cut it with scissors, and it's really easy to work with because of that. You know, it's not like you need power tools and all that kind of fancy stuff. So that worked out really well for finishing. A couple other areas I did. I went to the V-berth, and above the shelf in the V-berth I put the 1/2 inch foam board and the cork over top. I was going to do wood board slats like I did inside the cupboards, but I didn't really want to have 2 kinds of boards. You can see there's the teak boards on the lower part of the V-berth wall under the shelf. I didn't think the white boards would look good with the lower boards being teak, so I went with that cork, and I think it turned out really nice. I had a little bit of condensation issues where the cushions would get damp in the V-berth on the lower part, like below the teak boards. So I did the same thing there. I just glued this cork board there, and it creates just that little bit of a barrier, and I've had no dampness on the cushions since. I also did the cork board back in the quarter berth on the exterior wall, just as a nice little tiny bit of an insulator, and that was just done fairly recently, so I haven't checked it, but I'm not expecting any dampness at all on the cushions there. Something else I did was put the carpet back in the boat. You may or may not remember I had a different piece of carpet before. It was quite cheap and quite thin, so I cut a new piece of a higher quality and thicker Berber, and it's actually quite a bit more comfortable, which was surprising. So that's gone back in for the winter and warmed things up as well in here. One of the things I did before I left too was replace my batteries. I've had the boat 5 years, and the batteries were starting to concern me a little bit in how long they were holding their charge, especially because I was running refrigeration now full time. I only just installed that last spring, and I noticed on my trip with the kids to Desolation Sound I was having a few issues with the charge. So I ordered the batteries while we were actually in Desolation Sound, and when I got back to Vancouver I went and picked them up. I went with AGM batteries this time. The ones I had before were flooded, and they were just a Costco battery actually, so I think that I got 5 years out of them was good. And who actually knows how long they were in before that? I couldn't find a date anywhere on those batteries. They could have been in there for 5 years before that, for all I know. So I was really glad I replaced those before the trip. I didn't want to be in the middle of nowhere and have battery issues. It just wasn't worth it. I also purchased solar panels and a battery monitor before I left, but I didn't have time to install all that. It was just too much of an undertaking with the limited days I had between the trip with my kids and the trip coming up here. I installed 2 solar panels on the back bimini. They're 50 watts each. I decided to put my solar panel controller over by my electrical panel and also the battery monitor. The nice thing about this battery monitor is that it can monitor multiple banks for voltage, and then for one bank, which I decided would be my house bank because I've got 2 batteries in parallel to increase the amp hours. For that bank, it can monitor the voltage, state of charge, and the amps being used, so the draw at the time. So when I turn the water on and the water pump goes, I actually see exactly how many amps are going out. I want to say a huge thanks again to Cole and my dad for helping me bring the boat up. I really couldn't have done it without those 2 guys, and I hope to have my dad on board again for more cruises, and I hope to go cruising with Cole, but with his own boat this time. So you may see our boats rafted up somewhere in the distant future, or not too distant future. You never know. Once again, thanks for watching the series. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to start cruising the northern sections of Canada's west coast, and hopefully you guys will want to come along. Leave a comment if you would like me to keep filming these types of videos where I'm cruising the coast, and if you like it, then I'll keep doing it. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Here I am at the top of my mast, looking at the waterfront. That's what moonshine looks like from above. And here's Prince Rupert Harbor.